Hi, my name is Michelle Rocco, and I am currently in EDUW 691. And this is a quick summary of my paper. So what I wanted to do was work on Wisconsin State Standard 1. Teachers know the subject they are teaching, and teachers know how children to grow. And my focus was that I wanted to focus my own teaching as well as how my students grow. I want to create meaningful and engaging lessons for my students, and my topic today to guide my research is: do interactive notebooks affect student achievement in middle school students? So what I've looked at in my classes is that there's sometimes when my students seem bored or unengaged. And never do I want science to be a favorite subject for any of my students or all of my students, but I do want it to be meaningful. So when I'm teaching my science lesson, I do want them to be engaged. And you have to understand that I have a class of 43 students on a huge academic spectrum. So I have one student who, in the middle of their third grade year, came to our school, homeschooled, and was significantly behind. We had that student stay in third grade a second year, as per guidelines of our school. I have a new student who is in sixth grade who has repeated fifth grade. Mom has decided to not pursue any type of individual educational plans or have her child tested, so she's functioning at about a third grade level. I have one student who is autistic, along with emotional behavioral disability. I have another seventh grade student who is learning process with an individual service plan. And I also have students on the other side of the spectrum, including a seventh grader whose parents recently came in to discuss having her skip her seventh grade year. So I have the gamut from very, very low to very, very high achievers. So last year I just started to introduce my student notebook and just dabble in it a little. This year I decided to take the full plunge, so I've done a couple webinars, and I have purchased templates and resources to be used in my classroom on a daily basis. And what I did to give myself documentation is to do a pre-quiz, and that had 6 fill-in-the-blank statements and a short answer section. And this was only used for my research purposes, and it did not affect their grade whatsoever. And my scores came out as this. My first class, Gryffindor, scored a 67.1%. Hufflepuff was a 93.6%, and those are my 7th and 8th grade learners, very independent learners, and Ravenclaw scored at a 62%. So those were my pre-quizzes. And then what I found out through my research is that middle school students really learn differently than our elementary students do. It's that huge transition from self-contained classrooms to switching classes, freedom of choice and instructional diversity and personal expression. And it's most important in my research to learn more of finding out each student's learning style. By learning their learning style, I can help to find out what works best for them. I did find out again with my implications is that my middle school students need to have a choice in their learning. Each part of the brain does something very specific, and both sides of the brain work together to create long-term memory storage sites. And once material is presented, I have about 15 seconds to create that long-term memory, so I need to figure out a way to put that in that storage bank to be stored and retrieved at a later date. And I do need to make sure that I'm delivering the instruction to allow that personal connection to my classroom materials. So what I want to do is just use exit cards, compare my pre- and post-quiz scores, and read the student reflections as part of my goal with that. My post-assessments showed that all of my classes significantly improved, especially Gryffindor with 90.6%. Hufflepuff had 97.3% and 90.7% for Ravenclaw. I had 3 students individually that scored from 20% to 80%, 10% to 100%, and 20% to 90%. And so I can definitely say that they have improved, on their student achievement. And I just really believe that by allowing personal choice and making a connection to what is being studied, to what a student has, gives the child a way to find that and retrieve it and store it to create student achievement and engagement in my classes. So that's really what I learned. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much.